Hello YouTube, I'm Pilot Stud and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're in an R44 well above LA and we're in a brand new freeware helicopter. And my goodness, despite being in the early stages, this is absolutely awesome. Welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator freeware video. Today we're taking a look at this R44 R44 Raven 2 by Rotor Sim Pilot and his team. It's certainly an interesting aircraft. It's in its early days with only 5% of the aircraft done according to the developers. And it's a community project, so I do recommend you join their Discord. Now, we've already had a freeware helicopter in this sim before, but I do believe this one has some pluses, some positive features that we haven't seen with the H135. Of course, it's personal preference, but seeing as this is still early days, this has certainly got the potential to be up there with the H135. I'm not a helicopter pilot and I've never been in a helicopter, but they're certainly fun to fly, perfect for sightseeing around Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can get this for free from flightsim.to, the link is in the description. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy videos like these. So you can see right now we're in the helicopter. Less is more really when you're controlling a helicopter. I'm a pretty bad heli pilot, I won't lie, and it's certainly taken me a bit of time, about half an hour of flying to get somewhat used to this plane. Whoa, not plane, helicopter of course I mean. And I'm still not there, I'm still a bit wobbly. Now, the interesting thing about this helicopter is that it uses an injected flight model, which means you download an external application which injects the flight model from that said application into Microsoft Flight Simulator. Long story short, it's basically because Asobo have not provided that opportunity yet, as they haven't worked on their helicopter. But hey, it works pretty well, and as you can hear and as you can see, it flies pretty well. I'm not the perfect pilot, but I feel pretty confident with this helicopter. Certainly fun to fly. It's not overly sensitive, it's not too unsensitive, it's pretty responsive, but it's not that it requires constant adjustment. As you can see from the outside, it looks very nice. We will take a closer look of the textures when we're down on the ground, but as we're flying around, let's just get a bit more feeling for it. Back in the cockpit, you can see we've got a lot of moving parts. And the helicopter itself is very agile. Of course, it's a Robertson aircraft, so it's a pretty light helicopter designed for leisure purposes and kind of light VIP travel, I guess. It's not a helicopter you want to be cooped up in for a while because it's pretty small. It's more of a recreational one. And it flies pretty well in the sim. I was pretty impressed. It takes you get a bit used to, but as you can see with the working cockpit, the awesome sound so far, and the beautiful flight model, it does a pretty good job. Now, the textures in the cockpit aren't perfect. They're a bit blurry in places, but I've got to be honest, they're pretty on par with most other Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft. So who knows what we'll see when this aircraft develops. It's still in its alpha release stage, so bear that in mind. As you can see, we've turned back round and we're now approaching another airport. I still really struggle to land helicopters, so we'll see how it goes. Once again, less is more, and yeah, this will be a horrible landing. Now I'm going to reduce power to start hovering down. I kind of try and fly it like a plane. I know it's not the best option, but it's kind of natural instinct. Ooh, you don't want to make that. I think that's the helicopter telling us we shouldn't be doing something. Right, okay, we can put a bit more power in, and we'll try and line up with the runway. We normally would land on a helipad, but of course that's not possible. There's not really a helipad here, unless it's that blue thing. Whoa, 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 no my friends, we do not want to be doing that. Quick, let's sort ourselves up. Not so sure what that was. I guess you wouldn't call it a stall. It's probably a stall of some sorts, but not one I'm familiar with. But to be fair, okay, I'm at a position I'm happy with now, although we've got some pretty uncomfortable passengers, I'd imagine. As you can see, for a helicopter noob like me, a guy who's used to planes and fixed wing aircraft, this is not the easiest thing to do. I think we're going to end up in the ground doing this. Wait, oh. Right, we're going to sort this out. As you can see, I did say I'm rubbish at landing helicopters. Purely me, I have successfully landed a helicopter once so far, so I guess making this video out of all my attempts, I guess I have to be pretty lucky to do a good landing. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Right. Okay, let's line up with the runway now. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Slow it down. We're not going to end up on the runway, but we might, just about. Yeah, that was a horrible landing, but a landing nonetheless. Now let's go over and we'll take a look at the aircraft in its full glory. Apologies for that landing. Okay, so we're parked up now. I'm going to get the engine shut off, put out fuel, and there we go, engine is shut off. And now we can take a look at the aircraft from the outside. Now you can see the texturing on this helicopter is pretty insane. In fact, we're going to go into showcase mode so we can get really up close and look at the textures. I mean, just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Notice the slight vibration on the helicopter. I'm not too sure if that's realistic. I guess it's just because you turn the engine off and there's some effect going there. Now sure, it's not perfect in places. We could probably do with a bit more resolution on the danger kind of sign there. But aside from that, it looks pretty good. You can see the cockpit texturing from the front. It looks superb. Really lifelike actually. It's an aircraft, when you're in the cockpit, it feels pretty similar to how I imagine it feels in real life. All lighting works well. As you can see, we've got, I guess you'd call it a navigation light there, although I'm not too sure how it works on helicopters in terms of lighting. We've got a red on the left side, red for port side, and green for starboard, of course. The detail on the rotor and around that area is pretty well done as well, with a nice bit of reflection there. While we're outside, let's get the aircraft started up. There we go, starts up pretty quickly, you can see. At the moment, there's not a full startup checklist. You do want to just press Control E, and that should do it nicely. The sounds, as you know, are rather good. They're not perfect, but again, this is an alpha aircraft. It's not going to be perfect. Taking a look at some of the stuff in the cockpit, you can see some of it is functional. It's not all functional, but most of it does work with my honeycomb yoke. You can see a lot of these instruments, I believe, have just been taken from the default Microsoft Flight Simulator kind of SDK, but with time, I'm sure we'll see improvements there. What really stands out to me is the back of the interior. It's really well done, and of course the doors open, which is always very nice. We've got a lot of little details like the manual in the corner there and the no smoking sign. Now I'm just going to hop away from this sim for a moment to talk about how you set it up. You'll be using something called Airland FS, which comes with the aircraft. You can then set it up how you want. I follow what they recommend in terms of realism and sensitivity. I've got 20% student pilot, and then pedal sensitivity at 79% and cyclic sensitivity at 79%. I might bring that down a bit, that's because I do think it's a bit fluttery, so I'll probably bring that down to 50%. That should be nice. That should install automatically, and you can load it up when you load up Microsoft Flight Simulator. You'll notice performance is pretty decent. It's not perfect, there's a few lag spikes, but let's take it for a flight now. So I'm going to slowly increase, I don't know what you really call it, throttle, that's the word. And there we go, we do come up nicely. I was a bit quick there. And you've got to balance the aircraft with the rudder pedals and push your yoke will stick forward to end up coming somewhat forward. Now I'm not too sure if that's the correct technique, but that's what I do most of the time. And there we go, we're away. It's nice to take off, and it's nice to fly like this. I just cannot get my hands around landing it. Now something you won't see, because my recording software does not pick it up, is the fact that the application that provides and injects the flight model is actually giving me little hints in the corner. It tells me if I'm flying sideways and I need to correct my pedals, or if my RPM is too high, etc. And it works really well. We've also got our Garmin device up there, which is pretty handy when you're navigating a long way. Let's try and land on this big pad of concrete now. We should get over there, surely. There we go. I don't know how to land it. I've got to be honest. I need a bit more practice, I think, because I just cannot. I can't seem to hover it. Like when I'm like this, it's easy to hover, but I can't slow down. Maybe I'm doing something well. I'm obviously doing something horrifically wrong. Let's try again, shall we? So as you can see, I am by no means a helicopter pilot. It's clear I need a lot more work on this, but I hope you've enjoyed this kind of mini review of this helicopter. Of course, it's freeware, so it definitely deserves a high score, and seeing it as it's a new helicopter, it's up there, 9 out of 10 I'd probably give it. I need a lot more time, but so far, even though this is so-called 5% complete, there's a bunch of features that certainly make it a lot of fun. I do struggle to fly it, as you can see, but I hope you've enjoyed this video regardless. From me today, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, be sure to click that sub button. It really does help me out. But from me today, that is all. I'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much to my channel members. Thank you to Simon Schmidt, Captain Matt Russell, Ethan B. Beck, Jesse Wiseman, and Erwin K. You guys really do help me out, and if you want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. Anyway, from me today, last thing I want to say is that I'm running a charity fundraiser. I'll be doing a skydive, raising money for 2 awesome charities. We've raised over £600 so far. All of your donations go to the charity. Anyway, from me today, that is all. I'll see you around. Bye bye.